Music doesn't just belong to a time. It reflects it. The fears, the freedoms, the unspoken rules of a generation. And sometimes, those meanings don't survive the years. What once felt powerful now feels misunderstood. What once united people now sounds almost foreign. Because the 1970s weren't just about sound, they were about context. A world without algorithms, without instant access, without the noise of everything happening at once. These are the songs from the 70s that meant everything back then, but might leave today's listeners wondering what they're missing. Number 10, I Will Survive, Gloria Gaynor, 1978.
I should have changed that stupid lock. I should have made you leave your key.
Today, I Will Survive is often heard as a simple anthem, a breakup song, a moment of empowerment, a chorus people shout along to, sometimes without thinking twice. But in 1978, it meant something more, much more. At a time when disco was more than just music, it was a space, a refuge, a community, a place where people who felt invisible elsewhere could finally be seen. And in that space, this song became something powerful. Gloria Gaynor's voice didn't just tell a story of heartbreak, it carried resilience, survival, not just emotionally, but socially. For many, especially within marginalized communities, I Will Survive wasn't just about moving on from a relationship. It was about existing, enduring, holding on to identity in a world that didn't always make room for it. But that context is easy to lose. Today, the song is everywhere. Movies, commercials, playlists, stripped of the environment that once gave it weight. The message remains, but the urgency fades. Because sometimes, a song isn't just what it says, it's where it was heard and who needed it most. Number 9, Superstition, Stevie Wonder, 1972.
Very superstitious.
At first glance, Superstition sounds timeless. That iconic groove, that clavinet riff, sharp, rhythmic, instantly recognizable. Even today, it feels modern. But what many listeners now might miss is what it was pushing against. In the early 1970s, superstition wasn't just a phrase, it was part of everyday life. Old beliefs, cultural habits, ideas passed down without question. And Stevie Wonder challenged that. Not aggressively, not with confrontation, but with rhythm. When you believe in things that you don't understand. The line wasn't just catchy, it was a quiet critique, a reflection of a world beginning to shift, moving away from blind belief towards something more conscious, more aware. And musically, it was just as revolutionary. Stevie wasn't just performing. He was building the sound himself, layering instruments, shaping funk into something tighter, more precise, more alive. But today, much of that context fades. What remains is the groove, the riff, the feeling. People dance to it, recognize it. But the message, subtle, questioning, rooted in its time, can easily slip past unnoticed. Because sometimes the deeper meaning of a song is hidden inside the rhythm everyone remembers. Number 8, Stayin' Alive, Bee Gees, 1977. Today, Stayin' Alive is instantly recognizable. That falsetto, that beat, that strut. It's become shorthand for disco itself, often reduced to parody, nostalgia, or even comedy. But in 1977, it carried a very different weight. Beneath the polished production and dance floor energy, there was something darker. The song wasn't about celebration. It was about survival, urban life, struggle, the pressure of simply getting through another day. It wasn't just a lyric. It was a reflection of a generation navigating uncertainty, economic downturns, changing cities, a world that didn't feel as stable as it once had. And yet, the music pushed forward. Because disco wasn't just escapism, it was resistance. A way to keep moving even when everything else felt stuck. But over time, that meaning blurred. The white suits, the dance moves, the film scenes, they took over the narrative. Today, many hear Stayin' Alive as fun, light, even ironic. But back then, it wasn't about looking cool, it was about enduring. Because sometimes the songs we dance to the most were never meant to be carefree. Number 7, Dancing Queen, ABBA, 1976. Today, Dancing Queen feels almost universal. Weddings, parties, moments of pure nostalgia. It's often heard as joy, simple, timeless, effortless. But in 1976, it carried something more specific. A feeling tied to a particular kind of freedom. Because for many, especially young people at the time, the dance floor wasn't just a place to have fun. It was a place to become someone else. Or maybe, to finally be yourself. The line wasn't just invitation, it was permission. In an era still shaped by expectations, social, cultural, even gendered, spaces like discos offered something rare. Anonymity, expression, escape. And Dancing Queen captured that moment perfectly. Not loud, not rebellious in an obvious way, but quietly liberating. Today, the song is everywhere. Celebrated, replayed, sometimes even overplayed. But that original context, that sense of stepping into the light just for one night, can easily be overlooked. Because sometimes what sounds like pure happiness is actually the sound of freedom being discovered. Number 6, Bridge Over Troubled Water, Simon and Garfunkel, 1970. Today, Bridge Over Troubled Water is often heard as a beautiful ballad. Calm, emotional, almost timeless in its simplicity. It plays in quiet moments, funerals, reflections, places where words feel insufficient. But in 1970, it carried a different kind of weight. This wasn't just a song about comfort, it was about a world in turmoil. The late 1960s had been marked by unrest, protests, political tension, a generation questioning everything it had inherited. And as the decade turned, there was a need for something else. Not rebellion, but reassurance. The line wasn't just poetic, it was a promise. A moment of stillness in a time that rarely offered it. And Art Garfunkel's vocal, almost gospel in its delivery, gave the song a sense of quiet transcendence. But today, much of that context fades. What remains is the beauty, the melody, the emotion. Still powerful, but detached from the uncertainty that once made it necessary. Because sometimes, the songs that sound the most peaceful were born from the loudest moments in history. Number 5, To What's Going On, Marvin Gaye, 1971.
We don't need to escalate.
Today, What's Going On is often praised as a masterpiece, smooth, soulful, almost effortless in the way it flows. But in 1971, it was something far more radical, because Marvin Gaye wasn't just making music. He was asking questions, real ones, about war, about inequality, about a world that seemed to be losing its sense of direction.
Mother, mother.
It wasn't subtle, and that was the point. At the time, Motown wasn't known for this kind of message. They wanted hits, clean, polished, universal, not confrontation. But Gaye pushed forward anyway, layering voices, blurring the line between singer and narrator, creating something that felt less like a song and more like a conversation. And for many listeners, it was exactly what they needed.
Besides what I read,
A reflection of what was happening outside the studio walls. But today, that urgency can be easy to miss. The groove is smooth, the delivery almost calming. It sounds like comfort, but it wasn't meant to be. Because sometimes the most beautiful songs are asking the most difficult questions. Number 4, Hotel California, Eagles, 1976.
On the dark desert highway.
Today, Hotel California is often treated like a riddle, a song people try to decode, a mystery filled with symbols, theories, and endless interpretations. But in 1976, it wasn't just a puzzle, it was a reflection of a world that had changed. The optimism of the 1960s had begun to fade, replaced by something more complicated: success, excess, and the cost that came with it. And Hotel California captured that shift.
You can check out anytime you like.
It wasn't just a clever line, it was a warning, a metaphor for the American dream, and the illusion behind it. Fame, luxury, freedom, all wrapped in something that slowly reveals its darker side. Musically, it felt polished, even inviting. But beneath that surface, there was tension, a sense that something wasn't quite right.
Then she lit up a candle.
Today, the song is iconic, played endlessly, analyzed endlessly, but often separated from the moment that gave it meaning. Because back then, it wasn't just a story about a place. It was about a feeling. And sometimes the most enduring songs are the ones that quietly question everything around them. Number 3, Imagine, John Lennon, 1971.
Imagine there's no heaven.
Today, Imagine is often heard as a peaceful song. Soft piano, gentle vocals, a melody that feels almost weightless. It plays in moments of reflection, ceremonies, tributes, quiet spaces. But in 1971, it wasn't just peaceful, it was provocative. Because what John Lennon was suggesting wasn't small.
No hell below us.
These weren't comforting ideas for everyone. They challenged structures people had built their identities around: nation, faith, ownership. Lennon wasn't offering answers. He was asking listeners to let go of everything they assumed was fixed. And for many, that was unsettling.
No hell below us.
The song was criticized, misunderstood, even rejected in certain circles, but it also resonated deeply, because it arrived at a time when the world was already questioning itself, searching for something different, something better. Today, much of that tension is gone. What remains is the beauty, the simplicity, the hope, but the edge fades. Because sometimes a song that sounds like a dream was originally meant to disrupt reality. Number 2, Stairway to Heaven, Led Zeppelin, 1971.
There's a lady you should.
Today, Stairway to Heaven feels almost sacred. A song people approach with reverence, played carefully, discussed endlessly. But in 1971, it was something else entirely. It wasn't just a song, it was a journey. Beginning softly, almost like a folk ballad, before slowly building into something heavier, more intense, more transcendent. At a time when rock music was still defining itself, no traditional chorus, no obvious structure, just progression. And she's buying a stairway to heaven. The lyrics were cryptic, open to interpretation, spiritual to some, confusing to others. But that ambiguity was the point. It invited listeners to find their own meaning, something that felt rare in an era still grounded in more direct storytelling. And then there was the ending. That guitar solo, that release of tension. It wasn't just music, it was experience. Today it's iconic, almost too familiar. But back then, it wasn't overplayed, it wasn't analyzed to death, it was discovered. Because sometimes, a song isn't meant to be understood immediately. It's meant to be felt, step by step. Number 1, Bohemian Rhapsody, Queen, 1975.
Escape from reality.
Today, Bohemian Rhapsody is everywhere, sung in cars, shouted in crowds, turned into something almost playful, a shared cultural moment people know by heart. But in 1975, it made very little sense. No clear structure, no traditional chorus, no obvious category. Opera, mixed with rock, ballad, turning into chaos, then back again. It wasn't just unusual, it was risky.
Life had just begun.
Even record executives doubted it. Some believed it was too long, too strange, too fragmented to ever work on radio. But Queen didn't simplify it. They leaned into it. Freddie Mercury's vision wasn't about fitting in. It was about creating something entirely its own. And somehow, it connected.
Ghost doesn't really matter.
Listeners didn't need to understand it fully. They felt it, the drama, the shifts, the emotion that moved from intimate to explosive in a matter of minutes. It climbed to number 1, stayed there, and redefined what a hit song could be. But today, much of that shock is gone. What once felt unpredictable now feels familiar. Because sometimes the songs that seem impossible at first end up becoming the ones no one can imagine living without.